Hey, this is Willie Griswold with the Bob and Tom Show. We are so happy to be joined by Mike Golic. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Mike, I am doing great. I have one question I want to ask you really quick. You work with your kid, and I actually work with my dad. He followed you into football and broadcasting. I want to know if you have any tips on working with family and, still being invited to Thanksgiving.
I would say my son started off right out of the gate giving me a lot of grief. He didn't hold back. I was expecting this. My son would, bend at the knee of his father and be very, giving to me and relenting to all my opinions. But, man, he came out firing at me. So I was a little surprised at that. So, I would say just go ahead and fire at him right away.
You know what, Mike? I didn't even need that advice. I took that too. I think I kind of went in with that mentality.
That's funny. I know this is like trying to catch a unicorn or something, but I genuinely, I'm a big fan of yours. You're a great broadcaster, and it's hard to even put my finger on exactly what it is. There's a certain combination of gravitas and in the moment and playfulness that's happening. Can you give us some advice on these lines? How when you go into it, what are you thinking of? How do you try to improve at your craft? What are you working on?
It's so odd because I just go back to what my parents used to tell me, and I tell my kids, and they roll their eyes at me. And it's the simplest advice I give is just be yourself. If you have to flip the mic on and go into a different personality, people figure that out.
Yeah.
They're like, is this person genuine? I truly like to talk to people, not at people. I truly like to make it like I'm just sitting at a bar and having a beer with somebody, and I might be wrong on something. They might be right. I'm certainly not perfect. I'm going to be wrong on a lot of things. I'm a bit self-deprecating. We kind of do that in our family as well. And I don't know. As my dad said, some people are going to like it and some people aren't. That's just the way it is. But just be yourself. And if people don't like it and the bosses don't like it, then you're going to have to move on and find another job.
Yeah. Well, Mike,
I just really just kind of was been myself the whole time.
Well, I was just going to say, this is definitely a question that you would hear in a bar. You're from Cleveland. I'm sure you spent some time in lots of Ohio. Are you familiar with Cincinnati chili, the noodles with the cinnamon chili on top? And do you prefer that to an LA taco, maybe?
There's the Skyline chili, obviously, in Cincinnati. There's another great place at Montgomery Inn, has great ribs.
Sure.
Listen, I am one of those. I'm a big fan of food, and I do this whenever I go to games anywhere where there's college or pro. I like to get local fare, mostly beer, but food as well. But I always ask for what's the local favorite, what's the local favorite beer, what's the local favorite dish, and I give it a try. So yeah. I figure, I'm fortunate enough in this job to travel all around the country. So I'm like, why not try some of the great things in these cities? Now, there have been things I didn't like, but I like to give them a try.
So if you're in LA, are you more of like a vegan restaurant guy or a taco truck
no.
guy? Okay, cool.
God, no.
If I was in front of you right now, I'd have to hit you right in the face.
He already mentioned ribs, Willie.
Yeah, vegan. I couldn't even tell you what's on a vegan menu. No, I'm none of that stuff. I'm a meat and potatoes guy, a beer guy. I look for that stuff everywhere.
Now, I've been pitching something for about a decade. The big game is about 6:30 p.m. on Eastern time. I want an undercard game. I want a 2 p.m. game. Better idea, A, the third place game, Chiefs-Niners, or B, the last place game, Lions-Jags. Winner gets the first pick in the draft.
Well, that would be much better because there'd be something on it.
Right.
I mean, that third place game, unless you're putting something on the line for third and fourth, how they split the Pro Bowl, 80,000 a winner, 40,000 a loser. You got to have a reason to play.
Right.
So playing for the first pick would be something. Now, that's a long layoff, though. You got to remember that those two teams didn't play in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the break from the end of the college football season.
That's a good
point.
point.
Championship game. There's a number of weeks involved there. That would be the toughest part, to have players be off for like a month and then come back and play. That would be the only fly in the ointment of that plan.
That's a good point. Now, the third place game, we could juice it a little. We could have a second round draft pick or something. We could throw that in, right? Does that make it more interesting?
Well, it would, because at least that way you're getting players that have played more recently. So if you could put something good on that game and make it worthwhile so the players would want to play in it, then that could work.
Okay.
Mike, let's talk about this weekend. Who do you got in the big game?
Well, I can't. Here's the thing. I for 25 years at ESPN and before, I've gone to every Super Bowl and I've left because I was jealous of the guys playing. So I'd watch it on my couch. I'd be there all week and watch it on my couch. This is the first Super Bowl game I'm going to, and I'm working the sideline. I'm actually working the game. So to be a professional, I guess, I can't pick the game. You know?
Is that right? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, I don't know if players hear that, but if I pick one team and I'm working the game and I'm on the sideline of the other team, they're like, oh yeah, here's a guy working the game. I'm supposed to be official and working the game, and I'm picking one team over the other, so I can't really do that.
Oh, that's interesting. All right.
Mike, I don't have the experience of wanting to play in the game and being a former player, but I can't follow food accounts on Instagram for the same reason. I get too hungry. I got to be in the moment.
I'm telling you, you follow those accounts and then I'm with you because I want to eat that stuff right then and there, and it's not there. They call it like food porn. You're just looking at it and saying, wait a minute, I need some of that, and I can't get it right now.
All right, can you pick this kind of thing? We've got our boss back home, Willie's father, in fact, is a big fan of this question. The Manning brothers, appearances in the Super Bowl, over-under at 4.5. Can you pick that kind of thing?
Now, do they have to be together or either one of them?
No, any appearance. In fact, I think all the Mannings count. If we get an Archie, I think that counts.
Archie, Cooper even.
So are you talking commercials or live at the game?
Oh, we're talking commercials, but I suppose we could allow any appearance.
Oh, if it's any appearance, I'm going definitely over.
Okay,
without
all right.
question.
All right. You're allowed to pick that.
You're from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, I can pretty much pick anything but the game. I mean, without question.
Gatorade colors on the winner.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, people bet on the coin toss. I pick tails. Whenever I was a captain, I was like, tails never fails, man. I pick that.
I have the same strategy when I play Madden. That's great.
There you go.
Mike, you're from Cleveland, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How do you feel about this sort of classic hip-hop halftime show? Are you going to be watching?
Let me tell you, I don't know if I'm more excited to be on the sideline for the game or the halftime show. I mean, that is some serious power coming out.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to it. Back when I was doing Mike and Mike at ESPN, we had Snoop in studio a couple of times. Very nice guy. Obviously big into football. He started the Pop Warner League and such. So, these guys, the guys really, I've had Lil Wayne in studio as well. The guys are really into sports. It's always been athletes want to be entertainers. Like, I would love to be a guy that stands on stage and be able to sing in front of 80,000 people. And entertainers, they always want to be athletes. It's so wild how they'd like to flip. Yeah,
I can vouch for that. In the stand-up comedy universe, a lot of these guys want to be rock stars.
Yeah.
What was your last Google search, Mike?
My last Google search, I think, and I'm trying to remember, it was a kind of a brand new company, and I don't remember the guy's name of it. I Googled his net worth to see how good that company was, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the company was. But I Googled, to answer your question, the last Google search was somebody's net worth. Not mine, because it's not worth Googling.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for talking to us today. And I want to let you know, in honor of you, I am not going to eat any vegan food for the rest of my trip here in California.
You know what? God love you for that. If I see you somewhere, we're going to have meat and beer. That's what we're going to do.
Please and thank you.
I like it. What a great talk. Thank you so much, Mr. Golic. Enjoy the big game, my friend.
And for our listeners, you can catch Mike this weekend doing the Westwood 1 coverage of the big game. You can listen to it and find that info at westwoodsports.com. Thank you again, Mike.
You got it. Thanks, guys.